All right, you guys, so I have a treat for you today. This behind me is the 2020 Toyota GT86 Hakone Edition. And this is going to be a really cool vehicle. And in my opinion, I think that if you're looking for a really special, unique, and just eye-catching, from the factory, affordable sports car, this is going to be a great purchase. So in this video, we're gonna check out every detail about this vehicle. So let's go ahead and jump into it.
You said it's gonna be a time for you and me. Didn't I know it? Everything is gone. We're children of the war. Where do we go now? We're going nowhere. We're gonna miss the sky. We're gonna find ourselves in the afterlife. We're going nowhere.
All right, everyone, let's go ahead and check out the 2020 Toyota GT86 Hakone Edition. So this is a tribute to one of Japan's most famous mountain pass roads. And if you think this is just a looks package, you are 100% correct. But there is nothing wrong with that, especially when you have this beautiful green paint. Now, they sell this obviously in other parts of the world, and this paint is known as, I think, like a British racing green. Here it's known as just the Hakone Edition green, but it's incredible. It looks great, and if you get it in the right light, you can see a lot of hints of blue in this green paint, and it looks so good. I had a lot of people ask me if this was a wrap because it looks so unique. It's an awesome color, and I think that alone is worth the price hike. And it reminds me a lot of the Mystic Green that Ford used to have on the Cobras, and yeah, I think that's why I have so much love for this paint color. Now, as you come to the front, it's going to be the same GT86 styling that you have on every other model in the lineup. So you have that interesting agape frog-like grille, and I think it looks more like a frog now because it's green. I'm not a big fan of the bumper on this one. I think the FRS, BRZ, they looked a lot better, and this is not my favorite looking, but it does look the most aggressive, so it's kind of a mixed bag. Now you have full LED lights on here, turn signals, low beams, high beams, fog lights, all LEDs, and I mean, it makes the car look good at night. It makes it look more expensive. That's the good thing about LEDs. They just give off a more premium feel. And it is going to say 86 off to the side. Now let's go ahead and move to these wheels, because these are the highlight. Toyota is all about the bronze wheel game right now. You got the Land Cruiser Heritage Edition, which has the bronze wheels. You can click the link in my description if you guys want to watch that, or stay tuned to the end of the video. Now, these wheels look great with this paint coat. When I saw pictures of this, I wasn't a big fan, but in person, and hopefully this video does it justice, it matches really well, and it's such a cool looking spec. Now, coming up here to the side, you have the 86 badge. You have this little fake vent here, but it looks good. And then moving back, you can see it is a classic sports car coupe styling. And then as you come to the top, you are going to have that double bubble hood right here. So it basically increases your headroom ever so slightly. And then moving to the rear quarter panel, LED lights here in the back. But the interesting part is if you get to the tail lamp, you would think that this whole part would light up. It doesn't. It's just this top part. And then obviously your blinkers and brake lights back here are going to be full LED, not a single incandescent bulb on this car. And you've got this little wing right here, which is going to be the Hakone green on the side, and it's going to have some matte black going there through the top. Then coming down here, you have this sort of F1 style rear bumper. Reminds me a lot of what they did on the new Supra. And you've got these chunky little exhausts back here. But let's go ahead and take a listen to that Boxer 4. All right, so here's the key for the GT86. Now you are going to have your lock, your unlock, your trunk release, and your panic button there. Turn the key around and you got a Toyota symbol right back there. Now you can use this obviously to get in, or you can use this little rib pattern here, and then there's a touch pad right behind the door handle. Just touch it like that, it's gonna unlock it, and then you put your thumb right there, that's going to lock it. So let's go ahead and check out the inside. All right, so since we've already pretty much seen the inside of every FRS, BRZ, GT86, I'm gonna make this pretty quick. You're going to have this faux Alcantara lining the entire top right here. So there's a closer look at that for you guys. This is gonna be hard touch, soft touch, very soft touch right there. A little area to put like a bottle, some leather around the speaker here. You have this like faux carbon fiber, so you guys can see that right there. Obviously window controls, door locks. This door sill here, which looks like aluminum, but it's just gonna be plastic. Obviously rubber here, plastic there. Aluminum pedals. Now you are going to have these tan and black seats, which are specific to this model. And the leather quality is, I mean, it's super supple, but I know that Toyota doesn't use real leather, so I believe it's like a synthetic leather. Either way, it's incredibly soft. And then you are going to have Alcantara lining the side right here with stitching, a little pass through here for your seat belt. Obviously full manual controls. Then as you come to the middle, you are going to have this little armrest right here, which is going to slide back and forwards. Cup holder inside of there. Now, because I'm not gonna hop in the back seat, here's a look at the back seat, big enough for your legless passengers. Not really a headrest, but you do have a little speaker back here. And yeah, it's basically just a shelf to throw things on. Over here, you're gonna have lighting controls, your trunk release, full manual steering wheel. The steering wheel itself looks pretty good. You do have this like tan stitching to match the interior. 86 logo, all of your corresponding buttons on the left and right. No paddle shifters because this is the manual. And then you're gonna pull that up, over to the left and up to put it into reverse. E-brake, once again lined in leather with that stitching to match the interior. You go ahead and hop in. Now coming up, this is all going to be like really soft rubber, so that's really cool. Speaker there for your sound system, Alcantara lining the top here. And as you move to the middle, you have Alcantara lining the inside here. Now remember, this is all faux, so it's not going to be real, but it looks very convincing. And you have this 86 logo located right over there, which is pretty nice. Now, this does have Apple CarPlay. Let me go ahead and turn this on. And there you guys go, Apple CarPlay right there. Obviously you can go and use it as a touchscreen. And it's pretty nice. If it didn't have Apple CarPlay, I would complain a lot about this head unit because other than the CarPlay, it's pretty basic. Looks very aftermarket, but it is installed in here very, very well. So I will admit I'm impressed by the quality of how well it is in this dash here. Now obviously your vents, you're going to have your gauge cluster here. And then your backup camera is going to come up, oh, clutch, right there, if you guys can see that. And it's pretty much going to be it for the inside. So let's go ahead, check out the trunk. Okay, so coming under the trunk of the GT86. Now, lifting this up, this is going to have the special 86 branded floor mat back here. But once you're back here, you've got a decent amount of space. You can also fold the rear seats down, which is pretty cool, so that'll give you a little bit more room right there. But for the most part, you guys can see it's a sports car, so it is going to be bigger than something like a Miata, which has a very, very tiny trunk. This one's a lot more usable, and you know, if you're doing like a weekend trip, you can easily fit a suitcase or two back here. It shouldn't be a problem. Now underneath the floor right here, you aren't going to have much, so let me see if I can lift this up. There we go. So under here, you have your spare, and then you're going to have like your jack assembly equipment, things like that. But there's nothing else super interesting underneath there, but it is nice that this comes with a spare considering most sports cars do not and usually have run flats instead. So the Miata, for example, only has the run flats. And with a car this light, taking out that tire would probably make a big difference in terms of you know, acceleration, things like that. But, you know, when you have a car that this light, small takeaways like that really do make a big change. But let's go ahead and see what powers this. Okay, so under the hood of the GT86, now this is the same 2-liter 4-cylinder engine that's been in this, the FRS, and the BRZ since it debuted. Obviously, it's in dire need of more power, and we are going to get that, but it's not going to be until the next generation of this vehicle comes out, which Subaru and Toyota have promised will be turbocharged. Now, this is going to be known as the FA20 engine. This is slightly different from the FA20F, which is in the WRX. This obviously is not going to have the turbo, but the main difference is that this has Toyota's D4S injection system, whereas the WRX engine obviously does not. So that's what Toyota has contributed to this Boxer to make it slightly unique. And this is going to make 205 horsepower, 156 pound-feet of torque in a vehicle that weighs about 2,800 pounds. This also has the 6-speed manual. You can get this with an automatic, and fuel economy figures for this one are pretty good. You can get up to 32 on the highway, but this does recommend that you use premium fuel only. Well, let's go ahead and get this on some canyon roads and see how it drives. Okay everyone, so driving the GT86 Hakone Edition. Now obviously it's the exact same as any other GT86, so you guys already know the deal. If you have heard about this car, if you've seen any drive videos on it, it's pretty much going to be the same deal, but I'm sure you guys want to see me drive it anyway. So you guys already saw I did a little 0 to 60. It's not very fast. I mean, you're talking 6.5 seconds, but we're on Ortega Highway in California, so I'm gonna go ahead and run this downhill, and let's go. Now, since we're going downhill, I'm gonna utilize the brakes a lot more. It's also a good test of brakes and to see how well the brakes work. Now we got my first corner, downshifting the third there. Gonna lean on the tires, and it goes in really well. It's super flat, and because you don't have a ton of power, you can really give it some gas in the corners and not worry about the back end coming loose on you, which is great. Slow down here. Whew, and it rotates so well. And if you feel like you have too much speed going into a corner, just lift off the accelerator and it tucks itself very nicely into the corners. And then you can just power out, full throttle, and you're good to go. It transitions so well, and it's been a minute since I've driven a manual, but I definitely got back into the groove pretty quick. Come on, let's go. We're caught up to some traffic here, so I'm gonna slow down a bit. Now, I love the fact that this does not have a lot of power, especially out here. What you guys just saw, I was maybe 90% of that was full throttle. You can't do that in most cars. You just can't. And it's such a cool feeling because it feels like you're getting the most out of your car. It's almost the same equivalent as rolling your toothpaste and getting that every little bit out of it. You just feel more satisfied because it's like you got your money's worth. That's the same exact feeling you get with this when you're out here, because it's like, man, I've had the Supra that I had out here. I just had a BMW X5M competition that was out here. I've had the GTI out here, the GLI out here, and I mean, they all do great. I think the Supra was probably the best, but even with the Supra,
you're not utilizing more than 50%, maybe 60% of your power. And, you know, it gets a little dangerous because there's a part of you that's always going to want to access more and more and more of that power when you're out here. And eventually it's not going to end up well, like God forbid, but I mean, you guys know what I'm talking about. With this, you can go full 10/10ths out here all the time, and you're not going to put yourself in a position to where you're just absolutely putting yourself in danger. And, you know, coming from someone who's married, I have a spouse to get home to, I, you know, want to have kids in the future, I want to be able to make it home to my family and the people that I love. This is such a cool car because it almost keeps you in check. And I need that sometimes, especially with some of these cars that I drive out here. It's good to be kept in check because you can get out of hand pretty quickly with these higher horsepower cars. I mean, it's just, cars now are so fast. And so with this, it's kind of refreshing. And it's just a blast to drive. It's so flat. And I think to make this even more fun, I wouldn't throw more power at it. I would put a wider tire setup on here with way stickier tires. At that point, you probably won't even have to brake coming into most of these corners, just because it's that good and it handles that well.
Well, everyone, that's going to conclude my review on the 2020 Toyota GT86 Hakone Edition. Now, in my personal opinion, even though this is just a looks and appearance package, I think it looks incredible. And if you are getting one of your first sports cars, you want something unique, you want something that's super eye-catching, this is a great way to go. It's still an awesome driving car. It's still a great first-time sports car. And it gives you so many looks when you're driving. People literally stare at this thing. They think the paint color is some kind of wrap. And bronze wheels are always going to be super cool. So I think Toyota did a great job at really making this a unique looking version. And I think that if you're in the market for something like this, it really is a standout amongst all the other BRZs, FRSs, GT86s out there, and it's definitely going to make you stand out. So if you guys like this video, be sure to give me a thumbs up. Be sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next review. Y'all take care. Bye.